Yay! Hi! How are you? How's it going?
You.
Congratulations on the Clubhouse. So excited.
Thank you so much. No, I'm so happy with like where life has gone. Like I'm always like such a believer in like what's meant to be will always be, and like everything is working for you and not against you, you know?
Okay, so first of all, I want to talk about the Clubhouse, obviously. Super exciting. It seems like this happened really quickly. Everything like
super fast.
Yeah, talk about like when this came into your brain and how you kind of put it all together so quickly.
Basically, like before I came out with my whole video about like what happened with the Hype House, I like started to feel like a little bit cut out, and I was really just trying to create like internal structure, and no one was really listening to me, so I felt like I had to go off and go do my own thing. So my lawyer slash manager came to me with an investor and was like, hey, like we have this opportunity for you to start a new house, like because I was telling him like a little bit what was going on at the Hype House. So then all this came together, and I brought like my best friend Abby Rayo, and then my lawyer slash manager knew of a couple other people, and so did I, and we're still actually recruiting a few more people, which I'm really excited about.
In your brain, what do you think of when you want to bring people into your content collective?
For me, the biggest thing is like who they are as a person. Basically, like if they want others to do well, that is like a huge like, okay, like I'm totally interested, because when you have a bunch of people who get jealous over other people's success, it doesn't do anything for the business, you know, or as a team, because someone else's success won't stop you from yours. So like I want people with that same mindset.
And I feel like the Clubhouse is very girl, women heavy, which I love. Is that like kind of like the lane that you want to stay in, like kind of girl power, girl house?
I would like to, yeah. We have Chase Keith a part of it, but I would like to keep it pretty like female centered, to be honest, just because I feel like there's so much we could do with it, and I feel like it's so important to empower young women to just really truly embrace who they are as a person and follow their dreams and let them know like you could do it, you know?
And I want to discuss like a little bit, I know you said you were not going to comment anymore on the Hype House drama, totally cool, but how are you feeling kind of after all of that surfaced? That must have taken like a lot of courage to kind of come out and be like, this is what happened.
It was really hard for me. But everything kind of happened before I put out the video, so it did give me a little bit of time to like calm down, really think about how I feel, because obviously when you get into like little altercations with people, you get really heated and worked up in the moment. So I really wanted to make sure that all my emotions kind of set so I could really think about how I truly feel about the situation. And now I'm totally chill with it. I'm not one to hold grudges. Like it's actually impossible for me to hold a grudge. But recently I've learned how to forgive, but to not let that back into my life, you know, to like look for little signs for the future. That way I can learn from it, but I can also get over it.
Absolutely. And I'm sure you learned. So what are like some key
I learned so much. So some key things I learned is to always listen to your intuition and your gut. Like honestly, even if like you think somebody's your best friend, just listen to your intuition, your gut, and follow that, if anything, because you always seem to be right, you know? The other thing I've learned about business is to make sure that you get your stake in the company or whatever before you lay down all your assets, you know? Because I feel like from my perspective, that's how I kind of got screwed over, because I just trust. I put all my trust into it, you know?
Absolutely.
So that is 1,000% one thing I learned. Also, actually, another thing I just realized recently, I was talking with Abby in the car, and I was realizing I wasn't around people that were building me up. I felt like my light was so dimmed, and I felt like I had so much to share about myself, and I wasn't doing it there. For some reason, like, it had nothing to do with the actual people there. It was just more like, you know, people aligning with their frequencies, and when you're with people with the same frequency, you really just shine.
How is your relationship with everyone in the Hype House and Thomas? Like, what is that like today?
So I personally don't really talk to Thomas much anymore. I am still like close with like Addison and Dixie, and that's about like the only people that I really connected with in general from the Hype House. So now we're just all kind of friends, and we text every once in a while and say like, oh, how are you, you know?